Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel which has educational content that helps pharma, medical and physiotherapy students. In this video, I will explain the latest information about COVID-19 vaccine. The topics which are going to be covered are what are the vaccines we have, when the vaccine will be available for the general public, what are the vaccine types, and what happens after COVID infection. In many of the cases, people found that the antibody number is reducing and what is the effect of that, and some of the mythbusters. I have made a previous video on COVID-19. If you want to check that, you can check my YouTube channel. Just put my name G. Sai Rajesh in YouTube. You will get my channel and check this video. Get into the topic. Now, the leading vaccines. There are 4 major leading vaccines which are going to get into the market soon. The first one is of Pfizer and BioNTech one. Pfizer is an American-based company, whereas BioNTech is a Germany company. Both of them collaborated to come up with a RNA-based vaccine that has to be given 2 doses. And on November 18, the Pfizer has released preliminary phase 3 data which says that vaccine is 95% effective, which is a very good result. According to World Health Organization and FDA, the virus will get approval if it has proven 50% of effectiveness. But these vaccines have shown 95% effectiveness, which is a very good sign. Now, after that, the second one is of Moderna company. This company is of USA based company and this is being funded by National Institute of Health of USA. This is also an RNA based vaccine which has to be given 2 shots, and this has also shown 95% effective. Now, the next one is Oxford University, the London based which is collaborated with AstraZeneca company. In fact, this is also collaborated with Indian Serum Institute of India. The leading vaccine maker in India is Serum Institute of India, which is based in Pune. This is collaborated with Oxford University AstraZeneca vaccine. This is a vector-based vaccine. This has to be given 2 times. It has shown a strong immune response. The phase 3, excuse me, the phase 3 data is going to be released in December, mostly during Christmas. Now, the next one is Gamaleya. This is of Russian vaccine which is known as Sputnik 5. Now, this one right now it is in phase 3 clinical trials. This is also vector based vaccine. It has to be given 2 times and the Russian government has announced it has shown 92% effective. Now, this Sputnik vaccine is also collaborated with India's Dr. Reddy's laboratory, and in combination they are conducting phase 2 and 3 clinical trials in India. So, these are all the leading vaccines which are going to get into the market soon. How soon it is? Now, when these are available, when we are going to get this vaccine? Now, Pfizer on November 20th, they have applied for emergency use authorization of its vaccine to FDA. FDA is the organization which approves all the drugs and vaccines to get into the market. Now, usually the vaccines will be tested by doing clinical trials. You have 4 phases of clinical trials are there. When the vaccine passes phase 1, phase 2 and phase 3, it gets approved and gets into the market. It takes at least 10 years of time to finish these clinical trials. It's a long time. But right now we have a pandemic called COVID. In such cases of emergencies, if the preliminary data shows effectiveness of vaccine, the FDA may approve the drug to be used in limited population. This is known as emergency use authorization, and Pfizer on November 20th has applied for this, and it is going to be reviewed on December 8th, 9th and 10th. After that, if it approves emergency use of authorization, the Pfizer vaccine will get into the market in mid-December. In mid-December, the Pfizer is going to release this vaccine. In December 2020, the Pfizer said it could produce 10 million vaccine doses. By 2021, Pfizer said it could ramp up its production and 1.3 billion will be available in the year 2021. So, how soon is depends upon FDA review of emergency use of authorization. If it is approved by mid-December, vaccine will get released. And Pfizer said it will be releasing 10 million doses in this 2020 December, and by 2021 it will increase the doses to 1.3 billion. So this is what is there. Now coming to the Moderna one, even Moderna has also shown effectiveness of 95%. So they are also contemplating to get this emergency use of authorization. If it happens by this 2020 end, they are ready to give 20 million vaccines. So these two are leading, and if they get approval from FDA by December end, America is going to get all these vaccines. Now after that you have Oxford and AstraZeneca one. As I told you, this is collaborated with Serum Institute of India, which is in Pune, and they are doing clinical trials. But recently Adar Poonawalla, the CEO of Serum Institute of India, said by February 2021 they will produce vaccines which will be given to healthcare workers and elderly people. It is only to this limited population. By April 2021, Adar Poonawalla said the vaccine will be available for general public. So we all going to get this vaccine by April 2021, provided the vaccine clears FDA approval. Now the institute has promised to produce 30 to 40 crores of vaccines, and that will be available for general population. Coming to the Sputnik 5, the phase 3 data will be released in March 2021. So when it is going to get released, the vaccine, there is no clear-cut picture is there. So the earliest one will be from Pfizer, provided FDA approves its emergency use of authorization. After that Moderna one, and then Oxford University Serum Institute of India one. The earliest date we are going to get a vaccine to India, if everything goes right, that means if FDA approves, if the vaccine gets all the clearance data, it will be in February 2021 for limited population, but for general public it will be available in April 2021. And in recent interview, the CEO of Serum Institute said excuse me, each vaccine will cost around 1,000 rupees. So this is it. Now after that, see, the Pfizer and Moderna, both of them, the vaccine type is known as, it's RNA based vaccine. Now let us understand how these vaccines work. Think about polio vaccine. Polio vaccine is weakened or attenuated virus. The virus is weakened and it is sent into the body. So body thinks the polio virus is there and it generates antibodies. So when that real actual virus comes, these antibodies will attack that virus and the infection is warded. So this is how the immunity develops. Now to make such kind of vaccines, you need to develop these live vaccines, maintain that live viruses, maintain these live viruses, and that would be very expensive, and it is very difficult to do all these things. So Pfizer and Moderna come up with a new kind of vaccines known as RNA based vaccines. Now this is a typical coronavirus. When you see this coronavirus, the important protein is S protein, which is also known as spike protein, and this spike protein will binds to human cells and gets into human cells and infects us. This is responsible for that infection. It appears as spike, you can look at here, and because of that it is known as spike protein. Now this protein is synthesized by RNA, and this RNA is made and sent into human cells, and that RNA will synthesize spike proteins. Because these are foreign proteins, immediately our body enhances immunity, and that immunity will work against COVID-19. That is how these RNA based vaccines will work. So this is the picture. So spike proteins will be like this. So the proteins are synthesized based on RNA code. So that RNA is prepared and it is sent into human cell. Once it gets into the human cell, it starts making these spike proteins, and our immune antibodies will be developed against these spike proteins. And these antibodies will control that infection if you are exposed to COVID-19. Both the companies vaccine is based on this RNA technology. Now this is the Pfizer clinical trial report. See, in clinical trial, this is how it is done. The trials are conducted on around 44,000 volunteers. They are divided into two groups. One of the group is received vaccine, the another group is received placebo. Placebo is a fake pill. That means there is no drug. They just give a salt solution or something like that, to compare with this vaccine, to compare the results with this vaccine. That is called as placebo. So 50% of the population is given a vaccine, 50% of the population is given a placebo. Now, out of them, 170 people got COVID positive. In that 170, 162 were in placebo group, only 8 were in vaccine group. So this gives a 95% efficacy rate. According to FDA and World Health Organization, 50% efficacy is enough to approve the drug, and these vaccines have shown 95% efficacy. And the other major advantage, the side effects are very limited: fatigue and headache, severe weakness and headache, only these two. So this is about these two vaccines. Now look at this. The other problems with these vaccines are, see, even though the Pfizer one is coming up with a very good vaccine, the problem comes with storage. Look at the temperatures. It needs minus 70 degrees centigrade of storage, which is a little bit difficult one. Whereas Moderna one, it needs to be stored at minus 20 degrees. The other two vaccines, the regular fridge temperature is enough. So storage is a problem for Pfizer vaccine. It can be maintained in Moderna. It's not a problem for these two vaccines. Now, moving further, see, post-COVID, when someone gets COVID infection, he develops antibodies in his body. Now, what research has proven is, after a couple of months, the antibody level is reducing. This is called rapidly reducing antibodies. People are very much worried about this one. There is no need to worry. I have given two of the articles, one from the Hindu newspaper, another one is from New York Times. Both the articles says something about immunity. When you talk about immunity, you have innate immunity and adaptive immunity. In adaptive immunity, you have two branches are there: B cell, T cell. B cell is of antibody. All the newspapers and everybody is talking about antibodies. So when people get COVID, antibody levels increases, that will fight with the virus. After a couple of months, antibody levels will go down. True, but there is another thing called as T cell. T cell immunity is also important. Both the articles claim that T cells will remain longer period in our blood. So these T cells will confer immunity for longer period of time. So there is no worry even though the antibody levels are going down. You can check these articles. One is from Hindu and the other is from New York Times. Moving further, some of the myth busters. So this one is very prevalent in India. People think that eating garlic is a panacea, it will cure everything. No, it will help. It will help in it because it has got some antimicrobial activity, but there is no evidence it can control COVID. This is a myth. Eating garlic will not prevent coronavirus. And the next one is saline solution. When someone rinses his nose with saline solution, it will ward off coronavirus. No. The regularly rinsing nose with saline solution may be effective in case of cold. It is not effective in case of COVID. So don't burn your noses. Now, antibiotics are not effective against coronavirus. Antibiotics are effective against bacterial infection. But corona is because of virus. You cannot use them. If you are using it, you will be inviting side effects and adverse effects. It is not proven. The other one, this is very prevalent in India. Vitamins and mineral supplements, they cannot cure COVID. You know, there is a spike in vitamin C and vitamin E consumption during this COVID time. No, they cannot cure. Please remember. Next, see, currently there are no drug which is proven to cure or treat COVID. People are using hydroxychloroquine. Another one is ivermectin. Ivermectin is an anti-parasitic drug which is widely being used to treat COVID. No, there is no proven evidence these two drugs will treat COVID. The last one, see, this is the fact: UV lamp should not be used to disinfect hands or other areas of your skin. I have seen some of the people are using UV lamps to sterilize their hands. This is not a good practice. See, all this information is from World Health Organization site. You can go and cross-check the facts. So the safest thing to ward off coronavirus is a face mask, regularly cleaning our hands and keeping social distance. Thank you. I hope this video is helpful. If you like my video, subscribe my channel. Thank you all.